Sunset Shimmer. That is a name I will never forget. My name is Deyon. I'm a 12-year-old autistic kid, and I'm a fan of Equestria Girls, the family kid show based on My Little Pony. And one of the characters that I love so much, and is my favorite, is Sunset Shimmer, the girl with the yellow and red hair and cyan eyes. I've been a huge fan of her ever since I saw her, or at least I thought I was. It all started 2 months ago. It was on February 13, which was one day before Valentine's Day. I was looking through my mailbox, and then I found this DVD that was plain and written with red Sharpie, and the name was Final Episode, with red Sharpie scribbled all over it. I got weirded out at first, but curiosity got the better of me, and I took it back home, took it upstairs to my bedroom, and I popped it in my PC. And I clicked on the first file that came up named Final Episode, just like the DVD. I clicked on it, and to my surprise, it was one of the Equestria Girl episodes. I was happy to see it again after 6 years. But then, that's when I noticed that something was wrong. There was no intro music, and none of the characters were in there but Sunset Shimmer. And that was weird. I've never seen an intro with no music or lyrics or any characters but one. But I ignored that red flag and I continued on. And for some reason there was no title card. It just went straight into the episode. The episode started with Sunset Shimmer's apartment at night. And then for a few seconds, the camera switched to the inside of her apartment. And when I saw, sent me shimmers down my spine. Sunset Shimmer was sitting in the corner of her apartment. She was laughing and covering her face with her hands. And then she let go of her face. And she was smiling and crying at the exact same time. What the hell was going on here? I said in my head. And then she stopped. And she got up and she walked upstairs. And she got something from her drawer. It was a photo. And the person that was in that photo was me. What the hell was going on here? And then Sunset Shimmer kissed the photo and laughed quietly. She went downstairs, still with the photo in her hand, and she threw it in the garbage. And then she looked over at her wall, and what I saw made my skin pale as a sheep. All of the Equestria Girls, including Spike, were all murdered. And then Sunset Shimmer fell to her knees, gripped onto her head tightly, and she began to cry and laugh like a maniac with a smile on her face. Was Sunset Shimmer out of her mind? She laughed for a full minute, and then she stopped, and then she went over to her desk, and she pulled out a bloody knife. And then she went out the door, and she began to walk to the portal to the pony world. And then Sunset Shimmer stopped in front of the portal. She turned around to face the camera, breaking the fourth wall, looking at me, still with a smile on her face, and holding a knife. Sunset Shimmer said, in a really quiet, shaky voice,
Deyon, you will be mine.
I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. And then, after when she said that, she began to laugh like a maniac. And after that, my whole computer started to turn into static like there was a virus in it. While she's laughing, I tried to turn off my PC, but it wouldn't turn off. And then, out of nowhere, my PC shut down on its own. I couldn't turn it back on again. And I tried to get the disk out of my computer, but it was stuck. I got on my chair, and I got to back away from my room. And when I did, I thought I could hear Sunset Shimmers laughing in my head even though the PC was turned off. I gripped onto my head. Her laughing was driving me crazy. And then, I shouted, "Get out of my head, Sunset Shimmer!" But the laughing wouldn't stop. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my jacket, and I ran out of my house. And I began to calm down. But then I fell down to my knees, and I began to cry for the video I just witnessed. My childhood was ruined. How could kids watch an episode like that? And then, I started to laugh a bit in my fits of crying. Sunset Shimmer would scar me for life. And one thing's for sure, I will make sure that I'll never watch the Equestria girls for as long as I live. But I didn't have to worry anymore. I was fine. I was alive. And I didn't have to worry anymore. And then, I took a deep breath and walked back to my house, while wiping away the rest of my tears and emotions. I got to the door of my bed, and I hesitated for a moment. And then I heard a whisper saying, "Aren't you gonna go back in?" "Who's there?" I shouted and quickly turned around. But there was no one there. Was I going crazy? And I just ignored that. And I walked to my bed. And since it was late for me, I went to bed. But I had a nightmare. I woke up in a dark room with a painful numbness in my chest. I was sitting on the ground, pinned to the wall. I saw Sunset Shimmer in the cartoon style, standing above me, holding the knife and smiling, and with that look of not sleeping in days. And then Sunset Shimmer said,
Did you really think you would escape from me, darling? Because I can get into people's heads when they get impatient. And you were so much fun to toy with, just like the girls. It won't be long now until you are mine.
And what that meant was beyond me. And then I looked down to my chest, and what I saw made me gag in fear. Sunset Shimmer carved a heart in my chest and drilled into my heart. And then Sunset Shimmer approached me, and she began to dig into my chest, still with that horrid grin, while laughing. And then, as soon as she ripped my heart out, I woke up out of fear, sweating. And then, I began to cry from the torture I was going through. I cried for 2 minutes with questions in my head. What did Sunset Shimmer want from me? Why is she doing this to me? And then I heard the front door open, and I realized that it was my mom and dad. They were back. I charged at them filled with tears, and a while after, I had a talk with them, telling everything that happened. And it took a while to talk me out and calm me down. The good news is I began to calm down. And my mom and dad just told me that it was probably some sort of video I found off of YouTube. But the way that Shimmer sounded, she sounded exactly like Sunset Shimmer. But I eventually didn't want to talk back to them, so I just went on with it. But to this day, I never opened up my PC along with the file. But it would turn on sometimes, and the video would replay itself. It would drive me crazy, and no matter how many times I would try to turn off my PC, it wouldn't stop. And I just had to wait until the video ended. And when I tried to call in the police, they didn't believe me and thought I was crazy. And then they hung up. There was nothing for me to do. My parents don't believe me, and neither do the cops. Like Sunshine was manipulating them. And to this day, I still remember it. And I wish I could just erase it from my memory, just like how Wallflower did with the memory stone. But no. I had to live with this as if it were a permanent scar. And just like how I said before, I will make sure that I never watch the Equestria girls ever again. Wait, I can hear my computer coming on again, and it's not even plugged in. Please, make it stop.